Hello students, welcome to ExonMed channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about Kcet 2025 important questions solved. So let us start with question one by one. So malignant malaria is caused by, so we know that malaria, the serious malaria which is malignant is caused by Plasmodium falciparum. So the first answer option 1 is correct. Remember here there will be no A, B, C, D options. Here it is in the option in the form of 1, 2, 3 and 4. So let's go with the second question. Which of the following are the techniques for detection of cancer of internal organs? So there are different types of techniques like radiography, MRI scan and CT scan. So here the correct option. So radiography, MRI and then CT, computed tomography. So hence the answer will be A and B. So we can go, the answer A and B will be the correct option. So next question. The drug prescribed to the patients who have undergone organ transplant and is produced by, so we are giving drugs for a patient who has undergone a surgery and have gone transplant of the organs. So here his body will produce antibodies. So to prevent that, we give cyclosporin A, which is produced by Trichoderma polysporum. Hence the answer is A. So the next question is question number 4. Read the following statements and select the correct option. So first statement 1 says that biocontrol refers to the use of biological methods for controlling the plant diseases and pests. So here this statement is correct, that biocontrol agents are the one which are used as biological methods to control plant diseases and pests. And what we do, example we can take here, Trichoderma species is one of the effective biocontrol agent for several plant pathogens. Hence both statements 1 and 2 are correct. So the next question, it is column 1 and column 2. Streptococcus is a bacteria. Streptococcus is a bacteria which yields clot buster. So we can have Streptococcus clot buster. First try to find out which one is the answer. See, when you take only one, immediately you can get the answer and save the time. So hence the answer will be 3. So penicillium is a source of antibiotic. Methanogens, these are the bacteria which are used to produce biogas production. Anabina is a free living nitrogen fixing bacteria. So hence the answer is 3. So next question. The part of plasmid that code for proteins involved in the replication of PBr322 plasmid. You know PBr322 plasmid. So here you have two parts. One is called as oocyte. The other one is called as ROP. So here we know oocyte helps for replication of this plasmid DNA, and ROP is a region on the plasmid which provides the proteins for the replication of the DNA or the plasmid. So hence, so here replication, so that codes for proteins is ROP. So next question, column 1, column 2. Bioreactor. Bioreactor is a vessel which convert raw material into specific product. Try to find out the answer. 1 is 2. So again they have given very easy options here to, if you know only one, easily you can find out. So that is 3. Downstream processing, it involves separation and purification method. Then recombinant protein is a insulin which is called recombinant protein produced by rDNA technology. And PCR is a technique which can detect, you can detect the mutated gene in a cancer suspected patients. Hence the answer is third one. Okay, next question. To isolate DNA from fungal cells, bacterial cells and plant cells. They have given first fungi, bacteria and plant. So you have to find out the enzymes accordingly, respectively. First, fungi cell wall is made up of chitin. So first one will be chitinase. So here the answer is first one, chitinase. Bacteria cell wall can be destroyed by the enzyme called lysozyme. Plants cell wall can be destroyed by cellulase. Hence the answer is the first one. In mature insulin, which of the peptide is not present? So insulin, when you take the insulin, it is having three chains, A chain, B chain connected by C chain, and this is having disulfide bridges. So in mature insulin, C chain is not present, only A and B peptide is present. So you can find out the answer here. So in mature insulin, which is not present, C peptide is not present. Hence the answer is A. The scientist wants to produce virus-free plants in the tissue culture. So whenever we want to produce virus-free plants in the tissue culture, we always select the part of the plant which is not having virus. So in the tissue culture technique, it is very essential that the growing parts of the plant body like apical meristem, axillary meristem, they do not have usually virus. So it is virus free. You can select that as a X plant and then use it in the tissue culture. So come on, let us find out which part of the plant can be used as X plant. Mature stem cannot be used. Axillary stem, apical mesophyll. Axillary stem can be used because it is present at the axil of the leaf. So this bud. So this axil of the leaf has a bud. So this is also meristem. Tip also has a meristem, that is apical meristem. You can use these two, B and C. So hence the correct option is fourth one. It can be used for producing virus-free plants. Some strains of Bacillus thuringiensis bacteria produce proteins that can kill insects. Which one of the following is not killed by proteins of BT, Bacillus thuringiensis? So they have asked not killed by proteins of this BT. So we know that this Bacillus thuringiensis produce a toxin which is called as protoxin, and it can kill a wide variety of insects which belongs to lepidopterans, then dipterans and coleopterans. This three type of group of insects can be killed by this Bacillus thuringiensis. Lepidopterans contain armyworm, tobacco, budworm. Then coleopterans contain beetles and dipterans contains flies and mosquitoes. So here the option, that is tapeworm, is the odd one where it is not acting. This protoxin cannot kill the tapeworm. Hence the answer is tapeworm. Going to the next one. Which one of the following population attributes contributes to increase in population density? So population density, which we take it as N, it has an effect on the four factors. One is natality, which is birth. It can increase the population density. And the other one is mortality, which is a death. It can decrease the population. And the other one is, you can take immigration, which is increasing the population density. The other one is emigration, which decrease the population. Now find out which one will increase in population density. Plus plus shows increase in population density. So natality as well as immigration. So we have option 3 as the correct option. Let's go with the next one. If 8 individuals in a lab population of 80 fruit flies, there are 80 fruit flies and 8 will die at a specified time interval, death rate in the given population during that period is. So whenever you want to calculate the death rate, what you have to do is simply you can divide it by 80, then you get 0.1 individual per time interval. So hence the option is first one. Let's go with the next. Choose the correct sequence of steps involved in decomposition. In decomposition, there are several steps, like first is fragmentation, then comes leaching, catabolism, humidification, mineralization. We write it as one type of code like this, H, and the last is, sorry, we will, so first we will write F, fragmentation, and the last one is mineralization. Then second is leaching, and here it is humidification, and then comes C. Remember this one. So fragmentation, leaching, catabolism, humidification, mineralization. You can take a code word like this to remember: father, mother, father having leg, mother having head, they have one child. So father, mother, leg and head, child. So you can remember this serially. So hence the correct option will be the second one. So next question. With respect to limitation of ecological pyramids, they have asked limitation here. So you have to find out which one is the correct statement here. They have asked correct statement. So it does not take into account the same species belonging to one or more trophic levels. Yes, this is correct. So here ecological pyramids does not consider the same species belonging to different trophic level, and it assumes a simple food chain almost never exists in the nature. So hence that is also correct. It accommodates saprophytes. So saprophytes are not mentioned in ecological pyramids. It's wrong. It does not accommodate a food web. This is correct. There is no food web given in the ecological pyramids. Hence the answer is A, B and D. So A, B and D. Second one is the correct option. The sixth extinction of the species presently in the progress. You know, Earth has experienced several mass extinction. Among that, now it is the sixth extinction. How much speed it is? So it is dash times faster than the previous 5 episodes of mass extinction. So here it is 100 to 1000 time, 100 to 1000 time. It is speeder or faster than the previous mass extinction. Hence the answer will be 4. Next question. Species diversity. So when you see the species diversity, this is the equator. So here in this part there is increase in species diversity as you go to the polar region. Increase in species diversity as you go to the polar region. So here species diversity increases as we move away from the equator towards the pole. So species diversity increases away from the equator towards the poles. Hence the answer will be third one. Question number 18. They have given a pedigree chart here. In a practical examination, the following pedigree chart was given to a spotter. Spotter is nothing but student. So for identification, the students identify the given pedigree chart as. So this pedigree chart shows that equal, there is trait carried by both male and female, hence it is not sex linked. Then comes autosomal. So autosomal linked, if the trait or disorder appears on all the generation, then it is said to be autosomal dominant. If it skips any generation, then it is recessive. You can see here the parental, there is skipped. There is no disease here. The trait is not carried by the parents. Hence, as it is skipping one generation, then it is said to be autosomal, that is autosomal recessive or dominant. It is autosomal recessive. So hence the option is autosomal recessive. Next question. A student observed the TS of a plant organ, transverse section of plant organ at a microscope. He observed vascular bundles in the stellar region are conjoint, collateral and open type. So now we have to identify which plant it is. Conjoint means both xylem and phloem present together. Collateral means they are present one above the other. And they are open type. Open type means cambium is present. This is xylem, phloem separated by cambium. Such type of vascular bundles are observed in dicot stem. Hence, the correct option is dicot stem. And in monocot stem, they are not separated by vascular cambium or meristematic tissue. So, going to the next question. A student observed the slide of mitosis under the microscope and observed that chromosomes were placed at the opposite poles. See, this is here opposite poles, there is chromosomes, and here also it is chromosomes. Actually, this is telophase stage, but they have mentioned as chromosomes. Here it is chromatin. So, previous of this one, you can find a stage where chromosomes are present towards the polar region, held by spindle fibers. So, this stage is called as anaphase. This is telophase. And previous to this comes all the chromosomes arranged on the equatorial plate. So, now this is metaphase. Metaphase, anaphase, telophase. Prophase is another one which is previous. So, let us identify about this. So, chromosomes were placed at the opposite pole. So, this is opposite pole, hence it is identified to be anaphase. So, the fourth option is correct. So, going to the next question. Identify the incorrect statement with respect to the rules of binomial nomenclature. Incorrect statement. Binomial nomenclature rules. Biological names are underlined separately when handwritten. Usually when we write, we underline separately. That's correct. So, this is correct. Biological names are printed in italics. So, printed in italics to indicate their non-Latin origin. Non-Latin origin. Actually, there is nothing like non-Latin origin. They should be in Latin origin. Hence, this is wrong. The first word represents the genus while the other specific. This is correct. Biological names are generally in Latin or Latinized irrespective of their origin. Hence, the correct option is second one. Next question. Read the given statements and choose the correct option. Statement 1 says that gymme are green in color. So, this question is about bryophyte. Bryophyta. Gymme cups, which are the sexual reproductive bodies. So, gymme are green, unicellular, correct. Sexual buds, actually they are asexual, which develop in receptacles called gymacups. So, hence other words are correct, only that one is wrong, hence statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2 says that protonema develops directly from a spore. Yes, here spore will germinate to produce a filamentous structure called as protonema. So, this statement is correct. So, statement 1 is false and 2 is true. So, answer is 1. During a field trip, a student observed a marine organism with worm-like body. So, there is marine organism with worm-like body. Cylindrical body was divisible into proboscis, collar and long trunk. We know this is the one having proboscis, collar, and this is trunk. So, this type of organisms given in the textbook diagram is balanoglossus. So, balanoglossus is divisible into, body is divisible into proboscis, collar and trunk. So, match. Shape of the bacteria. So, cocci bacteria are spherical Bacilli bacteria are rod shaped, spiral bacteria are spiral like, Vibrio are comma shaped. So first one, third. So here there are two, and the second one bacilli 1. So the answer, correct answer will be fourth one. So they have given A first one, third one, Bacillus B1, then C is Spirillum, C again one more, C is, it should be 3, and Vibrio, that should be 4. So little bit options are wrong here. So we can take this as A3, here we have both, then B is for 1, so hence the answer will be this one. Here C, D has to be 4, and the third one should to be, it should be 2. So this will be the correct option. A3, B1, C2 and D 4. Next question. Identify the type of estivation in corolla labeled as A, B, C and D. So whenever you find a large petal which is called standard, and wings and keel is the important feature of Papilionaceae family. So hence the correct option here is first one is waxillary. This is waxillary estivation. So in the textbook they have given serially from that side to this side. Now here it is twisted. So you can go with the second one after waxillary, this where one petal is inside, one petal is completely outside, other three overlap. It is imbricate. And here each petal overlap regularly, so that one petal edge is outside, one petal edge is inside. It is twisted. And the last one is just the petals touch their margin with each other without overlapping is valvate. Hence the correct option is 1. Which of the following statements are correct with respect to frogs? So frogs have Bidder's canal. Yes, Bidder's canals are present in male frogs where the testis vasa efferentia opens through Bidder's canal, and copulatory pads are present in female frogs. Wrong, female frogs do not have copulatory pads. Sound producing vocal sacs are present in male frogs. This is correct. Cloaca present in male frog only. It is present in both male and female. So hence the correct option will be A and C. This is the correct option, second one. Match the column 1 with column 2. They have given vascular bundle and the TS. You can identify radial tetrarch cambial ring between xylem and phloem at later stage. So here they have said radial type of vascular bundles. Radial type of vascular bundles are present only in root. So cambium ring between xylem and phloem later stage. It means it should be dicot, because dicot only undergoes secondary growth. So here radial dicot root. So radial dicot root, TS of dicot root. So hence it is 1, 2. So here A, 2, we have two options. Next one we will go. A is 2. Next B we will see. Conjoint open and end arch. Conjoint vascular bundles are present in only stem. So then open type is present in dicot only. So it is TS of dicot stem. Dicot stem. So dicot stem is TS here 4. So B is 4. So let's find out. A2, B4. We got the answer as first one. So others, radial polyarch means many xylem and phloem. Large pith without cambial ring. So here polyarch and tetrarch. Tetrarch is present only in dicot root and polyarch is present in monocot root. So the third one is dicot radial polyarch, that is monocot root. Monocot root, this is correct, third one. So C is third one and the D is 1. Hence the correct option is A. Next, The reserve material in prokaryotic cells are stored in the cytoplasm in the form of, so always reserve material in the prokaryote is stored in the form of inclusion bodies. So here the correct option is, that is inclusion bodies. It may be phosphates or other cyanophycean granules. The cell wall less prokaryote among the following. Cell wall less means there is no cell wall in the prokaryote. Bacteria we can find out, but mycoplasma is the only one which is not having no cell wall. Cell wall is absent. Next, we study about the graph. The graph showing the concept of activation of energy of the enzyme is given below. You can find out here. So, potential energy graph to the progress of the reaction. When you check this x to y axis, substrate with enzyme, it has very low activation energy to form product. So, the activation energy is very less with enzyme, and without enzyme it undergoes a high transition state where the activation energy required is very high. So, with reference to this one, you have to answer what is M and what is N. So, here I said already N is with enzyme less activation energy, without enzyme M is without enzyme high activation energy. So, you take M first. M is high activation energy, M activation energy without enzyme, correct. N activation energy with enzyme. So, answer is third one. So, this is the correct option. So, let us go with the next question. Okay. Again, coming to one more question with column 1 and 2 based on meiosis, leptotin, zygotin, pakitin, diplotin, diakinesis. So, here what happens during leptotin? During leptotin stage, the chromosomes are visible under light microscope. So, first they start visible, and then here pairing of homologous chromosomes starts. Zygotin, chromosomes start pairing together, and in the pakitin there will be exchange of genetic material between the non-sister chromatids of the homologous chromosomes, and during diplotin there will be dissolution of synaptonymal complex, and during diakinesis there will be terminalization of chiasmata. So hence we have option 1, 2. So A should be 2. So the correct option here is second one. Read the given statement and choose the correct option. There are two statements given. Calvin cycle carboxylation is catalyzed by PEP carboxylase. So we know that Calvin cycle is also called as C3 cycle. Here carboxylation is catalyzed by PEP. They said this is wrong actually. It is RUBP carboxylase usually. Statement 2 says that this is C3 cycle and this is C4 cycle. Hatch-Slack pathway carboxylation is catalyzed by RUBP carboxylase. They have given reverse here. So this should come here and this should come here. Hence both statements are wrong. So carboxylation in C3 cycle takes place by RUBP carboxylase and Hatch-Slack pathway takes place by PEP carboxylase. So here both statements are wrong. Both statement 1 and 2 are, this will be the correct answer. Next question. The tricarboxylic acid cycle with the condensation of acetyl group. Here condensation of acetyl group takes place with oxaloacetic acid with the water to form citric acid. So condensation of acetyl CoA group will takes place to the oxaloacetic acid to form citric acid. So oxaloacetic acid. So condensation with acetyl CoA to form citric acid. So like this it takes place in the tricarboxylic acid cycle. Hence the correct option is third one. Next, Okay, let's start question number 34. Match column 1 with column 2. So here, first one, abscisic acid is carotenoid derivative. Abscisic acid is carotenoid derivative and gibberellins are terpenoids and kinetin is adenine derivatives. Oxin is indole acetic acid derivatives. Hence the correct option is first one. Match the following with the hormones and their derivatives. Next question. The respiratory rhythm or mechanism is controlled by a medulla oblongata which can be altered by. So, medulla oblongata is the main one which controls the mechanism of respiration. It can be altered by a area which is located in the pons called as pneumotaxic center in the pons, and it can, by reducing the inspiration, it can alter the change in the respiration rate. Hence the option is third one correct. Which among the three layers of the blood vessel wall, tunica intima, tunica media, tunica externa, is comparatively thin in the veins? So here when we compare, tunica media is the one which is comparatively thin in the veins. In nephron, transport of substances like sodium chloride and urea, they are facilitated by a special arrangement, countercurrent we call. Countercurrent comprises of Henle's loop and vasa recta arranged differently, where opposite direction the movement of sodium chloride and urea will move, and then thus they make the urine concentrated. In the mechanism of muscle contraction, short question number 38. In the mechanism of muscle contraction or shortening of the muscle, so mechanism of contraction. So here during the shortening of the muscles, during the shortening of the muscle or contracting of the muscles, which band will get reduced, whereas which one will retain the length of the band. So here the shortening of the muscle, when you take Z line, these two are Z line which are connected by actin and then in between myosin. So here this is A band and this is Z line. So as I have mentioned only about Z and I, we will say this one. So during contraction, the shortening of the muscles, the dash get reduced. Here the overlapping of actin and myosin. This is actin, only actin is present, and here myosin. So A band always retain, actually it contracts, and then this I band will shorten. So here I gets shortened whereas A retain the length. So the correct option is fourth one, that is I band and A band. So I band get reduced but A is always retained the length. So that is the correct answer. Next question. Identify the correct sequence of action potential as it arrives at the axon terminal from the choices given below. Axon terminal. So here first, always this message starts to the axon terminal and then from there it forms synaptic vesicles and then they are released in the synaptic cleft and then it is taken up by the postsynaptic membrane and then postsynaptic neuron it reaches. So first one is axon terminal, correct, and then synaptic vesicles. So this is gone and synaptic cleft is gone, synaptic vesicles, and then post they have given first synaptic cleft and then post. Hence the correct option is third one. Axon terminal, then to synaptic vesicles, synaptic cleft, postsynaptic membrane, and then postsynaptic neuron. The next question. Question number 40. Before going to this question, If you have not subscribed to our channel, subscribe, like and share, and then comment if you feel it very useful from 1 to 10. You can comment in the comment box. So identify the statement given below that correspond to function of cortisol. The cortisol function. So the first one, maintains cardiovascular system and kidney functions. This is correct because they have asked does not. Then produces anti-inflammatory reactions. It is correct. It maintains electrolyte balance, osmosis and blood pressure. Actually, this will not maintain the electrolyte balance or osmosis or blood pressure because that is controlled by mineralocorticoids, not corticoids or cortisol. Suppresses immune response. This is correct. Stimulates RBC production. This is correct. So 3 alone. So we don't have option here. 3 alone. Hence, this was given as grace mark. So here option was not given in the Kcet. So here the option should be only 3. And see, some people say that it maintains electrolyte balance, osmosis and blood pressure. But according to NCERT, this is not given. But we say biologically minute role of this cortisol is there in maintaining electrolyte balance. But according to NCERT, this is mineralocorticoids. So we say that the third one is the correct answer. When the pollen grains of a flower of a plant pollinate the stigma flower of the another plant, it is called as, see here, there are 2 plants A and B. So there are 2 flowers, pollen grain of a flower of a plant. This plant pollen grain will pollinate the stigma of this flower, another plant. Such type of pollination, 2 different plants, it's called as xenogamy. Fusion of male gamete with the central cell in the embryo sac. There is, these are antipodals, synergids and egg and central cell. You can find this is central cell. So fusion of a male gamete with the central cell. When the male gamete, 2 male gametes comes, one of them fuses with the egg to form zygote. The another male gamete will fuse with this to form, so this 3, this is a male gamete, 2 nucleus and this one is 3. It's called as triple fusion. Hence the correct option is triple fusion. Next. So this is structure of pollen grain. You have to identify. Here we know this is called as, the larger is called as vegetative cell and this is generative cell. Vegetative cell A, generative cell B. So A is generative cell, this is wrong. A is vegetative cell with abundant food reserve, B is generative cell which forms male gametes. So the option 2 is correct. So let's go with the next one. So placental hormones are given here and site of production, or ovary hormones, or the ovarian or the Leydig cells hormones. Match the following. So let us start with the first one. HCG and HPL. They are the hormones which are secreted by placenta. So placenta is the one. Then progesterone. So corpus luteum. Androgens, Leydig cells. Relaxin is a hormone secreted by ovary. Hence, here 1 is 2. So first A 2. So this option is correct. Correct sequence of sperm transport during ejaculation. So sperm is transported from the seminiferous tubules to the retate testis. This 2, 3 we have. Then from there epididymis, from there seminiferous tubules, retate testis. Then comes vasa efferentia, then epididymis, and then vas deferens and ejaculatory duct. So the correct option is the third one. Mismatch pair. So select the mismatch pair. First month of the pregnancy, formation of the heart, it is correct. Second month of pregnancy, movement of fetus, Actually, the movement of fetus takes place in the 5th month of the pregnancy, during 5th month. So this is wrong. So we have option B. So this will be the correct option. All others are correct here. Question number 47. Out of the following options, identify which one is not a natural method of contraception. Lactational amenorrhea is natural method. Periodic abstinence is natural method. Coitus interruptus is a natural method. Implant is not a contraceptive method which is natural. It is artificial, where hormones are implanted under the skin. Injectables. In zygote intrafallopian tube transfer, the embryo here in zygote intrafallopian transfer ZIFT, the embryo should be 8 blastomeres or more than 8. So it is nearly to the 8 blastomeres. It is transferred into the fallopian tube. Hence the answer is 1. MTP statement 1 says that MTP is to get rid of unwanted pregnancies due to casual unprotected intercourse or failure of contraceptives used during coitus or rape. This is correct. Statement 2 says that MTPs are performed legally by qualified doctors by giving proper medical justification. This is also correct. Both statements 1 and 2 are correct. Third is the correct answer. Question number 50. How many types of gametes will be formed by a parent with a genotype? Capital A, small a, capital B, small b, capital C, small c. So here we have to remember 2n. This is the formula for calculating the gametes. If it is here, there are 3 contrasting characters and 2 to the power 3, that equals to 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8. So the correct option is 8. 8 gametes are formed from this parent with the genotype capital A, small a, capital B, small b, cc. How many types of, okay, sorry, next one. When single gene exhibits multiple phenotypic expression, the phenomenon is called single gene multiple phenotypic expression. So we have an example of phenylketonuria, where only one gene produces multiple phenotypic effects. It's called as pleiotropy. So the correct answer is pleiotropy. Next, a color-blind man marries a carrier woman. Color-blind man. So we take X, Y. Color-blind man marries a carrier woman. The percentage of their color-blind progeny in the next generation will be color-blind progeny. We have to calculate percentage. So we have so color-blind percentage. So here this is the male having color-blind, female having color-blind, and this is carrier and this is normal. So color-blind is 50%, and the correct answer is fourth one, 50%. So Down syndrome and Turner syndrome, symptoms are given. We have to match which one is correct. Short statured individual, this is correct. Gynecomastia in man. Turner syndrome is female, so there is no gynecomastia in man. Or you can't find like that. So this is wrong. Round head and partially open mouth, correct. Overall masculine development, they are not mentioned whether it is male or female, so that's wrong. Broad palm, physical and mental development retarded, this is correct. And sterile females with rudimentary ovary, this females, correct. So hence the correct option is third one, that is C. So we have to see C. This is the correct answer. So this is Down syndrome symptom and this is Turner symptom. Question number 54. RNA polymerase 2 is responsible for the transcription of. So here remember RNA polymerase 1, 2, 3. There are 3 types of RNA polymerase in the eukaryotes. So 2. So we have to remember it as RMT. RMT. So the correct option you have to find here. So ribosomal RNA or rRNA is produced by DNA polymerase 1. mRNA, precursor of mRNA called as heterogeneous nuclear RNA, tRNA is RNA polymerase 3. So, RNA polymerase 2 is responsible for the transcription of, so the correct answer will be heterogeneous RNA, that is 2, heterogeneous RNA. This is the correct option. Question number 55. Which of the following enzymes increases the permeability of the bacterial cell to lactose? So, lactose is given. So, this lactose permeability is done by, so always we know the gene is PPO-Zia. The lactoperon gene is given like this in the form of PPO-Zia. Z produces beta galactosidase enzyme for the digestion of lactose. Y is permease and A is trans-acetylase. Trans-acetylase. Here, if the lactose molecules has to be digested by the beta galactosidase, first it has to enter into the cell. So, for that permease is very much important. So, permeability increases the permeability is permease enzyme. Question number 56. Which of the following statements are correct with reference to prokaryotic genome? Prokaryotic genome. Prokaryotic genome is monocystonic structural genes. This is wrong because prokaryotic gene is polycystonic. Introns absent in structural genes. So, prokaryotic gene do not contain intron exon. Always all are exons. So, this is correct. Transcription and translation are coupled process. So, in the prokaryotes bacteria, transcription and translation are always coupled back to back, and this is correct. Primary transcript undergoes splicing. So, here as the prokaryotic gene does not contain introns, there is no chance of splicing. So, this is wrong. Only one RNA polymerase is present. So, only one RNA polymerase is responsible for producing all the three types of RNA, mRNA, tRNA, RNA. This is correct. So, BCE. So, BCE, first one. Only BCE are correct. Question number 57. When a change in the gene frequency of a population occurs by chance, so during gene migration, what happens? If it happens multiple times or by chance, so what happens? Here there is genetic drift. So if the gene frequency of a population changes by gene flow continuously or by chance, then it is called as genetic drift. Darwin finches represent one of the best examples for adaptive radiation. Darwin finches as well as Australian marsupials. Question number 59. Choose the correct statement from the following. Correct. Charles Darwin travelled around the world in a ship called HMS Beagle. This is correct. There has been gradual evolution of life forms. Gradual evolution is correct. According to Darwin, fitness refers to physical fitness only. This is wrong. Actually, it is reproductive fitness. Fossils are remains of hard parts of life forms found in rocks. This is correct. Hugo de Vries, a naturalist, worked in Malay archipelago. This is wrong. So, it was the Alfred Wallace who worked in Malay archipelago. So, A, B and D. A, B and D are correct. So, second option is correct answer. Coming to the last question. In which of the following HIV replicates and produces its progeny viruses? So, HIV always replicates and produces progeny viruses in T helper cells, that is helper T lymphocytes cells, and then multiplies. So, this was about 2025 Kcet question paper discussion. And then again we are coming by 2024 Kcet paper discussion. Watch our all videos and subscribe to our channel. If you have any doubts, you can comment in the comment box. Thank you.